I'm 62, he's 24, and his mom just gave me an ultimatum. When I first met Darnell, I didn't think much of it. I was just grabbing a smoothie after yoga, and he complimented my earrings. I laughed, said thank you, and figured that was the end of it. But he kept showing up, same cafe, same time, every other day. Eventually, we sat and talked. Turns out we both love old soul records, long drives with no destination, and oddly enough, astrology memes. I'm not naive. I know people stare. Yes, I've heard every variation of, is that your son, or is he after your money? Which is hilarious because my retirement plan consists of thrift store flips and Social Security. But it's real. He wakes me up with forehead kisses, brags about my cooking to his friends, fixed the gate I've been dealing with for months and didn't even mention it twice. That's why when Darnell introduced me to his mother, I felt a little nervous, but hopeful. I had a good feeling about her, especially given how much he spoke of her with such love and respect. It wasn't that I was concerned about meeting her, but there was always a question mark hanging in the air whenever I thought about how our relationship might be perceived by the people closest to him. She was gracious at first, offering me a warm smile and asking me about my background. She seemed genuinely interested in me, though there was a certain tension in the way her eyes lingered on me. I chalked it up to nerves. Maybe she was just protective of her son. But then came the phone call a few weeks later, the one I wasn't prepared for. I had just finished baking some cinnamon rolls when my phone buzzed. It was Darnell's mom, Cynthia. Hi, Marie. I hope you're doing well. Listen, I've been meaning to talk to you. Can we meet for lunch? I think it's important. My heart skipped a beat. I could tell something was off in her tone. I agreed, of course, thinking maybe we were going to discuss family stuff. But what followed wasn't anything like what I had imagined. When I sat down with Cynthia at the cafe a few days later, she wasted no time. Her expression was serious, and I could tell that this wasn't going to be a casual conversation. I've been thinking a lot about you and Darnell, she started. And I need to be honest with you about something. I know you care about my son, but I need to know if you're serious. Are you just looking for someone to help you with your loneliness or ... loneliness? Cynthia, I care about Darnell deeply. You have no idea how much he means to me. We've built something real. She raised a hand to stop me. I'm not saying you don't care about him, but I need to hear that you're in this for the long haul. I know you two have a large age gap, and while I've kept my reservations to myself, there's something I've noticed that I can't ignore. Her words stung, but I kept my composure. I wasn't about to justify myself or my feelings to her. Cynthia, I've never felt anything like this before. Darnell makes me laugh. He treats me with respect. They're for me in ways I never thought I needed. She nodded slowly, but then she dropped the bombshell. I've been getting some pressure from family members. They're concerned about what kind of life you can give him. People are asking questions. They're questioning your intentions. And I've heard whispers, Marie. People are saying you're taking advantage of him, that you're playing that role of the sugar mama, or that he's with you for some kind of financial stability. My breath caught in my throat. The words felt like a slap to the face. I'm not taking advantage of Darnell, Cynthia. You know that. And if I were, do you think I'd be spending every day trying to make him feel loved, appreciated, and supported? He doesn't need me for money. He has his own ambitions. He's a hard worker, and you've seen that too. She seemed to hesitate, as if processing what I said. Then she took a deep breath and looked me in the eyes. Marie, I need to hear that you're really in this for him. You're not just doing it because you're lonely or looking for something to fill the space that time has taken from you. Because if you're not, I will make sure this doesn't go any further. I don't want my son to get hurt. I don't want him to feel like he's being used, even if he doesn't realize it. The ultimatum hung in the air like a storm cloud. I didn't know what to say. I was taken aback by her words. Darnell was my partner, and I loved him. What more could I prove? There was something in the way she spoke. I could see the protective mother in her eyes, the love and worry she had for her son. I realized she wasn't just concerned about the age gap. She was worried about something deeper, whether I was truly in this for Darnell's sake, and not just my own. I thought for a moment, and then I said the only thing I could think of. I love him, Cynthia. I don't need him for money, and I don't need him to fill a void. I just need him. And I'll do whatever it takes to show you that I'm here for him and not for anything else." There was silence for a long beat. Then she nodded. "All right. Marie, I hope that's the truth. But I'll be watching. I just want to make sure he's protected."
Ow.
I left that conversation feeling exhausted, my emotions a tangled mess. I didn't know if I had passed her test, but I knew I couldn't walk away from Darnell. He was too important to me. I had to prove that our love wasn't a mistake. It was real and worth fighting for. A few weeks went by and things seemed to be normal again. Darnell and I continued our routine, our coffee dates, drives, and shared evenings on the couch. But then a new twist came. One day, as Darnell and I were sitting in the kitchen, he looked at me with a serious expression. "Marie," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something. My mom called me the other day." I stiffened. "Wait. Did she say she told me she gave you an ultimatum? She's worried about our relationship, and she's been hearing a lot of things from the family. But I want you to know, I've got your back. I trust you." His words were a balm to my frayed nerves, but something about the situation didn't sit right with me. I thought back to the ultimatum, the tension, the pressure. "I don't want you to have to choose between me and your mom," I said softly. "But you need to know, Darnell, that I'm not here to cause problems. I'm here because I love you." He smiled, the warmth of it filling the room. "And I love you, Marie. I promise we'll figure this out together," and we did. Slowly but surely, Darnell and I navigated the tricky waters of family dynamics, working through the judgments and whispers. Over time, Cynthia saw that our relationship wasn't a passing phase, that it wasn't built on anything other than love and respect. I wasn't looking for anything from Darnell, other than the same things he was giving me: his heart, his trust, his companionship. The twist came when Darnell's cousin, who had been one of the loudest critics of our relationship, came to me and admitted he'd been wrong. "I can see the way he looks at you," he said. "He's happy, and I was too stubborn to see that before." In the end, Cynthia came around too, realizing that our relationship wasn't a threat, was something that made Darnell happier, more fulfilled. It wasn't easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But the one thing I learned through it all was that love isn't defined by age, by judgment, or by the opinions of others. Love is what we choose to make of it. And sometimes the people who challenge us the most end up being the ones who give us the chance to prove that we're worth it. So, if you're facing doubts or judgments or ultimatums, remember this. Love doesn't need validation from anyone else. It just needs to be real. And as long as you hold on to that truth, you can weather any storm. Please share this with anyone who might need a reminder that love is worth fighting for.